very happy to announce now and welcome Daniele quickly with me in the meeting. Daniele actually is in our team. He's a community manager. He has been based in Berlin, but moved to Munich to be closer to us, to his team, because he loves to be in contact, not only with his team, but also with Personio users all across Europe. And that's actually his job. He's a community manager in our international platform. And international fits quite well to Personio to Daniele as a description, because Daniele has already been in several countries and he speaks, I guess, 7 or 8 languages. Daniele, correct me if I'm wrong. And he likes to go swimming and also take a breath when needed. I'm super happy to welcome you today, Daniele, and handing over to you to see the updates on the Personio community.
Great, thank you very much for having me, Hannah. And hello to everyone listening. So let's start with a little bit of imagination today. So imagine you had the chance to walk into a room, and in that room, you can meet over 1,000 Personio users like you, hundreds of HR professionals, and also lots of our own Personio staff members who are all waiting to meet you. So of course you walk in, but how do you use that opportunity? Would you ask for help and support about Personio and try to find answers and get help? Or maybe you have some of your own advice that you'd love to share with everyone else. Would you start a conversation about an important HR or a recruiting topic that's on your mind, or rather just go in and listen to what the others have to say? Or would you go to a product manager and share feedback about our software? Or maybe you're the kind of person who just wants to share a funny meme about working in HR. Well, the good news is that the room that I just described is not imaginary. It exists, it's online, and it's accessible for you 24/7. It's called the Personio Community, and you are very, very welcome to be a part of it. So in the Personio Community, you can do all of the things that I mentioned earlier. In this quick presentation or demo, you will learn a couple tips on how to use the community, how to make the best out of it, and in turn, how to leverage the community to expand your own knowledge and of Personio and also your personal network. So it's very easy to use. I'm going to give you a demo later, but basically you can think of it like an online forum, a professional network that brings people together. As I said, Personio users and staff members, but also other HR professionals who don't use Personio are also very welcome. We have 2 separate communities. So one bigger and older one is the German, and then we have a newer international one that actually we launched last year, and we already gathered over 1,000 members. And I'm sure that some of the people in the audience here today are actually already Personio community members. So let's start with our first poll. Before I dive into a little demo, I would like to better understand the audience today and see with the poll if you're already a member or not. And I know that about half of our customers have already signed up, but I would like to really know how it's looking from the audience so I can really better understand who I'm talking to today. Okay, cool. 70% of you are already in the community and about 30% no or not sure. So basically, I'm just going to give you a little intro. This is our community homepage. Over here, you can see we have about 1,000 members. This is where our team features the most important and the most relevant topics for the user. For example, here for new users, there are some tips on how to use the community. And then further down, we feature some of the topics that have been discussed recently and some of the most important things, as well as some reminders and news about Personio events, just like this one that you're attending today. Further down, you can see our activity stream. So basically the most recently active topics. Basically, if you just want to listen in and see what the others are talking about, this can be a good way to just start and join the conversation. It will sort by the latest comments and also the latest posts. Down here on the bottom right, you can see the leaderboard. And basically, you can know which users have been the most active in the last week or in all time. And I suppose that some of those people on the leaderboard are in this call today. But basically, if you want to see these users have been very active in sharing questions, answers, and ideas. If you would like to connect with these users, you can just send them a message, for example, or tag them in a specific conversation. And yeah, it's an infinite stream of topics. So how do you find something that's actually relevant for you? Well, for that, there is the search, which is not as awesome as the federated search that Marco presented earlier. But it's a good way to have a quick overview of what topics are in the community. For example, I have a question about accrual policies. I will type in accrual policies. And here I will see there's over 250 answered questions, so questions and answers in the community, but I will also show you results from the Personio Help Center, which you can see directly in here. So if you cannot see the question, or if you cannot see a relevant question, you can click on View All, and that will show you the whole content. But if you feel like asking your own question, which we definitely encourage you to do, you can click on this big Ask the Community button to create a new post. You can share a question or a discussion. So a question is mostly if you need help, if you're looking for the answer. Discussion is if you want to sort of open the floor and get a few different opinions. Here, where you can see my mouse, are also some tips on how to best write a post in order to increase the likelihood of getting a good answer from another user. So if your question is how to set up accrual policies, for example, you can type your title in. You will also get recommended some similar content from the community. And over here, if you see that, okay, my question is not answered, you can just type in your question. And here I recommend just like you would write a support ticket, to add all the details that other people need in order to answer your question. You can, of course, also, attach files, attach pictures, but please be aware, do not attach any private or sensitive information. That's a big no-no. So after you've asked your question, it will land in the support area, which is an area basically where all of our questions and answers end up, and it will be on here. And as I said, our moderators will be happy to answer your questions. We have our own in-house experts, but also we welcome other users to help find a solution so that we can bolster this community feel. For those of you who feel generous and want to share their solutions, on the menu button, you can go on unanswered questions. And if you want to see if somebody needs some help, you can, of course, jump in. But again, of course, we will make sure that every single question receives an answer. So if nobody jumps in, we will, of course, jump in and share our solution with you. Another cool thing in the community are the groups. They're basically sub-forums about a certain topic. For example, there's a group for performance and development users. And then there's also a group for people in Spain and in the Netherlands, where people can actually speak their own language, Dutch and Spanish, and connect with other HR professionals and Personio users in their own country in order to exchange best practices. What else do we have? Remember when I talked about the room and I mentioned HR discussions? Well, there is the HR think tank, which is a dedicated area of the community where you can just share your questions, best practices, but also just start a discussion about any HR topic. And it doesn't have to be about Personio. So most of the people in our community are HR professionals and recruiters who use Personio or sort of involved with Personio. But of course, you have something bigger in common, which is your day-to-day work. So if there's a challenge or an idea or a topic that's been sitting on your mind, please do share it with the community. And yes, they can all benefit from this exchange of information. I have to say, this part of the community is not very well known and it's not too active. There's not a lot of content coming in, but we will work on ways to also provide some quality HR content from our side. And in the same way, we of course encourage you, if you ever have a question or a learning that you want to share with the community, we highly encourage you to share it here in the HR think tank area. Next up, product updates. You can find them here, and it's basically just an activity stream of what are the newest features that were released in Personio. Ideation area, very famous, very well known. The ideation area is an area where you can share your ideas and product feedback with our product managers and product experts. You can share your own ideas, or you can upvote the ideas of other users. For example, these are some very popular ideas. Some of them make it onto our roadmap. The majority of them, unfortunately, doesn't. But of course, the more detailed you write in your ideas and the more upvotes you will get, the more our product team really understand your needs and why you need a certain feature. So I recommend you to also upvote other people's ideas. And in the bottom, there's a bunch of them which you can also comment in order to share your input. So yes, this is basically my demo. You can see that there's a lot going on in the community. And to wrap it up, to conclude, what I believe is the most important element is really help and support. You can find lots of knowledge in there and ask questions if needed. And our goal is to really make sure that you find your answers faster. So when you do have a question, instead of waiting for somebody from support, maybe another community users want to share their answer with you. And yeah, we encourage fellow Personio users to share their own input. And some of them came up with very creative solutions. So we're always happy to see how other users would solve it. So our mission is to turn all of our Personio, all of our community members into Personio champions, and also champions in HR, recruiting, and people ops. And our goal is to make you more successful in what you do, and ideally together. So this is a call out for everyone. If you ever need help or support, if you have a question, please go ahead and ask it in the community. Other members will be able to benefit from what you write because they can see the solution as well. And it's not a private conversation, but it's more like of a democratic way to approach a question. So you will be doing a great favor to the whole community if you ask your question and everybody can see the answer that our own moderators or other users will provide. And the more the community content grows, the more value it brings to everyone involved. So to conclude, I welcome you all into the big supportive room that is the Personio community. I hope to see you there, and I look forward to your questions, your best practices, and your ideas. And thank you very much in advance for helping us make the community grow even more and be even more valuable to those involved.
Thank you, Daniele, very much. We received one question from Fayed. Maybe you can give a quick answer, have a look on the time. When someone answers my question, can I see the background or experience of that person?
That's a good question, Veit. Basically, all that you can see of another user is their username. You cannot see private data such as their first and last name. You cannot see their email address. You cannot see what company they work with, because we obviously want to protect everybody's privacy. But of course, you can verify. If you want to verify an answer, you can just tag a moderator and say, hey, Andrea, hey, Lena, hey, Daniele, is this question, can I fully trust it? And we will definitely jump in. Also, there's the lounge area where everybody can introduce themselves and where you can see what people have been up to. And some people are happy to share more info about themselves.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Daniele, for having that introduction of the Personio community. Looking forward to everyone being in the community. And as I already mentioned a couple of times, we will also forward and share the recordings and the slides in the community. So watch out, we will share the link soon with our mailing to you.